time they erode and destroy hearts of good souls in the dark, filled with dismay, laid along and fake too much, all the way through till the crumble. If the shattered down they go, don't let 'em do it like that. You must know that our own tricks that make you weak. So make up from no sleep. Don't refuse to be free, let go. Now there's reason to break up peace in your mind. Take my hand, join the team. Gonna let the dead leaves fall down. Hey, it's time to rise up. Over time they erode and destroy hearts of good souls in the dark, filled with dismay, laid along and fake too much, all the way through till the crumble. If the shattered down they go, don't let 'em do it like that. You must know that our own tricks that make you weak. So make up from no sleep. Don't refuse to be free, let go.
All right, so I think the stream thinking about things ready to go though. So hello everybody, Make Zard here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting video. And for today, yes, March ZardCast episode 14. Gosh by golly, I was, oh shoot, there's always something whenever you're trying to do something important or try to do something you really like, and then things pop up and things don't like to go your way. Like literally right before the startup for this stream, I literally, my Wi-Fi just tanked so bad. I was literally playing some Pokemon Unite, which I'll talk about later in the podcast, and I knew that thing was glitching up for its own good. I ran an internet speed test, and that test said it was running at 3 megabits per second as a download speed. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, that's as bad as like my grandparents' Wi-Fi. Like, you know, they live out in like a very rural area. So I was like, gosh dang. So I decided, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me go ahead and unplug the stream and replug, not unplug the stream, go ahead and unplug my Wi-Fi modem, go ahead and plug it back in, and then hopefully that will fix everything right about now. And it seems like it might be going okay for the most part though. I really hope so that it's running a-okay, and if not, I might just honestly start up a backup recording stream just to make sure that everything's going good, or if I happen to lose something, I can always throw up a little thing in the background though. So hello everybody, MegaZardX here, here at it with the episode 14, ZardCast episode 14. Have to repeat that a little bit in case this thing goes down or whatever though. So yes, for tonight, I got quite a bit of stuff to go ahead and go through and talk about with all y'all tonight. And it should be a good one. Got some very interesting topics. Got a little bit of some emotional negative ones in there as well. So, I mean, you know, I've been generally, for the most part, been talking about pretty, you know, good, solid, you know, nice news, though. But, you know, there's going to be that news out there. There's going to be a little more negative than what you might like to hear or whatnot, though. So yeah, I mean, shoot, we might as well go ahead and just jump up in it, though. So, in terms of the very first topic, surprisingly, we managed to get a brand new Dragon Ball Super related project to go down. And yes, it is called Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on here. This ain't my My Hero Academia sort of kind of shonen. I knew we were going to get some new Dragon Ball content here soon, but I did not think that we were going to get some more content with a movie that might be relating around with superheroes. I mean, that's a nice little interesting twist on things. I'm like, okay, I kind of see y'all. Like, all right, whatever though. So I'm like, okay, so I'm not too shocked or surprised. I do kind of like the new art style that they're sort of kind of going with. It's almost akin to the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Just I feel like a little more DBZ-ish, if that makes any sense. So I'm kind of looking forward to it though. Don't know like a crap ton too much about it, but we just know that it's a movie that's coming, I believe, in the year of 2022. So we have that to look forward to. Honestly, I just really want a brand new anime. That's what I really want, but these movies always make so much money for them. It makes sense. But I just want my sequel to Dragon Ball Super, man, in anime form, man. Like, please give it to me, or they might be working on it in the background or whatever, though. But yeah, just a quick little news update on that for all y'all Dragon Ball fans out there, though. Yes, we got a brand new one that's coming out here in the foreseeable future. Now, moving on to the next thing. Okay, gotta have my little bit of my Marvel segment right here. Oh shoot, yes, we finally got Hawkeye. We managed to get a release date for it, and it's going to be dropping on November the 24th. So not, oh, I was about to say not too far away. It actually is a decent amount of time far away from us, though. But in terms of, because the next series that we're going to have is the What If series, the animated series that's not necessarily MCU related, but has heavy ties to basically the comics. The comics had a What If series that starts off in August. I imagine it's probably going to have the yay or so, almost 10-ish average episode that most of these Disney Plus Marvel series had. So that's basically going to last us for mid August to mid September, almost to mid October, then probably have like another few week break before we switch over and go to Hawkeye. It always seems like there's always like a 3 week-ish sort of kind of break they like to do with these Disney Plus series before they move into the next one. Kind of, I guess, promote it, let it breathe, let those people that normally binge watch all the episodes in one try to go through and watch it all. But yeah, so I think that's what their sort of kind of typical strategy that they normally like to do with this though. But anyway, I'm super looking forward to this though. You get to see if you're actually watching the YouTube version of this, you get to see Hawkeye over there to the left, and then get to see. I thought it was gonna be his daughter that was actually gonna be the one that he was gonna be training up though, but actually it doesn't quite maybe kind of seem like it. I don't know if it is or I don't know if it isn't, because if it is, it makes sense with the blimp and all though. I didn't do a lot of dirt digging up into this. I probably could have, but then again, I don't like to have myself, know too much about what the series is besides what's actually showcased off in the trailers. Because if you really start doing your digging and your deep diving and all this stuff, you really would know exactly what all the series might pertain to and what's going to be revealed in it though. So I try to kind of stay away from most of that stuff. I know there's like a certain Twitter account, MCU Direct or whatever. Like they pull in information from the actors and all of this kind of stuff. I can't follow that mess. I can't follow it because I know good and well you wind up spoiling yourself to that level or degree though. So that's why I typically like to stay away from it though. So anyway, that's basically all I have to share, at least for the MCU news for Hawkeye. That does come out on November 24th. I'm really looking forward to it and seeing what's going to be offered up, because if you watch Black Widow, there's a little ending, credit scene. I won't spoil it for y'all that haven't seen that movie yet. That's going to have a heavy emphasis going into this Disney Plus series. So make sure you watch that movie before you probably go in to watch this, because it's probably going to have a lot of deep ties in it though. But that's basically all I have to say with that Hawkeye though. Now, this one is going to be one of my biggest pop culture segment topic news, and that is none other than Jungle Cruise right here. Because Jungle Cruise, it did manage to drop out on Disney Plus on Friday, just a couple of days ago. And you know what? I was like, you know what? It has The Rock up in it. I can't pass it. I'll watch a lot of movies with The Rock up in it. So I was like, you know what? I have to sit down and I have to go through and watch this and see exactly how well this is. Now, for all that don't know, Jungle Cruise is basically a movie that they sort of kind of just made up in the same similar sense how this movie was basically made around a Disney park attraction. Because if you ever been to Disney World, there's this one little attraction where you literally actually get up on a boat and you actually do like a quote unquote jungle cruise. That's basically what it is. They basically did the same thing, because there was a Disney ride in Disney World that's based around like Pirates of the Caribbean. But before that movie came out, it was just called like He's a Pirate or something, like some generic pirate thing. They literally made a movie based upon that theme park ride. They did the same thing with Jungle Cruise. So this is akin in a similar way to Pirates of the Caribbean. So I was like, okay, that's unique. They're kind of doing that similar sort of kind of thing, but it's unique in the sense that they ain't really pulling too much information from some other kind of context or whatever though. So it is really nice. And this movie honestly had a lot of comedic stuff built up in it. I mean, whenever The Rock's up in it, shoot, I think the most recent film that's popping up in my mind is Jumanji, which I know he's done some other things since then though, but Jumanji really stands out to me, like with him, with Kevin Hart and all that stuff. But yeah, when The Rock's up in any movie, he's gonna have a very comedical side, and the way, and honestly, the woman's brother in this film had quite a bit of comedy in it in itself between him and his interactions with his sister as well as The Rock. So basically, in this movie, without sort of kind of spoiling it, so this is my short little review of it. In this movie, you basically have this woman, and this woman is kind of going through it and saying, you know what, there's this arrowhead that she really wants, because she wants to try to find this place deep within like South America, within the Amazon, where there's this fictional tree that basically from the leaves that grows off of it, if you manage to have like one leaf off of it, you're able like to cure all illnesses or any kind of thing that makes anybody sick or whatever though. So she's on a quest to be able to look for this, because I think it was known through our family, especially with our father and whatnot. Though, like, was very interested in all of this stuff. So as a European woman, it wasn't looked highly. People didn't respect women, at least in that early. I think it was in the 1500s. No, no, not 1500. Why did I say 1500s? 1800. 18 or early 1900s, yada yada yada. But there was a reference to the 1500s, but I won't go up into all of that though. But anyway, she's basically on this big old quest to be able to try to use the arrowhead to basically find the tree. You manage to find The Rock over there. He's giving these boat tours or whatnot though, and she's really needing some help. So she winds up getting with him, and he basically guides her all the way over there to that tree. That's the basic, simple synopsis without going any further or deeper up inside of that though. But honestly, it was a pretty enjoyable movie. I managed to watch it on Disney Plus. Did play $30, similar to how Black Widow was $30. So I did the same thing in that regard though, and it was honestly a nice fun watch. So I mean, if you want something that's enjoyable but not nothing too serious, like Pirates of the Caribbean, it's enjoyable, but it does get really serious during some really serious moments though. This one, water it down a little bit, so it's a little more enjoyable but not as serious. But when it does get serious, it does get it gets pretty intense, but it's not almost completely intense to the level degree as like Pirates of the Caribbean is. So I think that's the main thing I think that this movie basically portrays or whatever though. So if you hadn't watched the movie, go ahead and watch it. Hey, it has my seal of approval right there. I don't think you can go wrong with this. If you can't watch in theaters, watch in theaters. If you got a family to watch it with Disney Plus, where the costs kind of level itself out, go ahead and watch it there though, or just whatever's comfortable to you though. But yeah, that's basically my short little thing on Jungle Cruise though. But y'all gotta let me know in the comment section down below if you watch this movie, or if you even heard about this movie, let me know what you thought, because I'm kind of curious about what your thoughts are on this movie, because I think this is one of the better Disney movies that we had in a decent bit in terms of its uniqueness. But anyway, that's basically all I have in terms of my pop culture segments though. But before I move into the gaming news, I do need to point out that yes, my ZardCast podcast is available on all streaming, or not streaming, but all podcast servers. So I'm on Google, I'm on Spotify, and I'm on Apple Podcasts. And I do have some good news that yes, my podcast series has caught up from episode 1 all the way up to episode 13. So yes, you can listen to all of those episodes right now. You might be listening on Google, Spotify, or Apple on the podcast server for this episode whenever you're actually watching it, though. So I just wanted to inform everybody about that, though. So normally with these episodes, I would normally drop them every other week on Sundays, and you can catch them live on my YouTube channel. And I'll have a link in the description box down below on whatever server you're actually listening to this podcast on. And I think typically I might leave it open for YouTube to have your one-stop shop to be able to listen to it live or slash as early as you possibly can within like a 24-hour window frame. And then I'm imagining basically late, and I mean real late Monday night, basically essentially a Tuesday. I hope to have all of the episode basically drop out on the right then and there though. So that's what I'm planning on doing for these episodes though. So honestly, you can look forward to it though, and I think it's gonna be pretty good. I'm kind of glad that I managed to get all the episodes caught up, so that way you can listen to them whatever way you kind of want to listen to them though. But that's basically all the short little news that I have just to kind of update y'all on the status of the podcast and where I'm going from there though. So let's go ahead and move on to the gaming topic news, because the first thing I have right over here is none other than the Olympics. Because if you happen to be watching the Olympics, which, to a level degree, I could be doing a little bit better. I could be watching a bit more of the Olympics. My main thing I like to watch is like the table tennis. The table tennis is very intense though. But anyway, during the opening ceremony of the Olympics, yes, they actually managed to play out some video game music during the start of it. Yes, I'm talking about like Square Enix music with Kingdom Hearts or Chrono Trigger, and they had some Sonic music here and there though, and quite a bit of other things too. I want to say that I thought they had some Monster Hunter stuff though too. So I mean, it was very cool to be able to hear and listen to all of that. And I don't want to hear from nobody online saying that video game music ain't real music, because shoot, if you can make the Olympics, then you can make it anywhere though. So I mean, like, it was just a short little brief little news little thing, but I really do like how they were doing this though. I did hear some words that Nintendo was supposed to be at the Olympics in some shape, form, or capacity, because especially with their ties of how they wanted to get Super Nintendo World done around the Olympics. But how COVID affected everything, whatever though. I think it was word on the street is Nintendo pulled out at the very last moment though. So a little bit unfortunate on that regard though. But other than that, it was pretty good that we're able to kind of get this representation on the big stage as the Olympics. So you know what? I really do like that. I really do appreciate it though. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all did you think about that. And shoot, if you're watching the Olympics and you saw any cool events, let me know which ones you saw, because I really need to do some recap and then do some catching up on the Olympics though. Just saying. Now the next thing is we have some news that there's going to be a brand new Pokemon live action series on Netflix, sort of kind of akin to Detective Pikachu, which it kind of makes sense. I thought they were going to, push it, push that series and try to make it a bit more relevant, because like Detective Pikachu was a very successful film. So you were thinking, how did they build off of that? Well, I guess they're kind of going the whole Netflix route. Me personally, Netflix can do some good things here and there, but not everything they do or touch is really good though. But it'll be interesting, since you have the Pokemon Company attached to this and all of that. Does it keep the level and high quality of Detective Pikachu levels within a Netflix show? Because you got to remember, TV series don't have nearly as big as a budget as a movie compared, with Warner Brothers throwing all their money into Detective Pikachu itself. So I'm kind of curious to see exactly how that will go. Still want to keep that focus on, the Pokemon themselves, and not too much about the trainers, as if like they're focusing on the battle aspect or whatever, because there's a lot of different ways they can kind of go about the series. Because if you look at all the different spin-offs, from like Mystery Dungeon to Pokemon Ranger, or it could be based upon a core series. I mean, shoot, this could be based on Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, all of those other regions. There's a lot of different ways they can go about it, but knowing Pokemon Company and the way how they are, they're probably going to base it somehow around Kanto, but throw in some more modern Pokemon or whatever though. So I'm curious about the direction of where this is actually going to go, but we're just going to have to pay attention to as time progresses, see exactly how the series is going to be shaping up for this new Netflix show. And that's basically all I have to say on that though. Now moving on, we did get some brand new news that yes, Dr. Mario is about to die. Yes, Dr. Mario World is scheduled to end, I believe, in November. And I'm like, dang, I was like, okay, I can't remember exactly when Dr. Mario World for, the mobile game managed to start up. But I'm just kind of genuinely shocked that it's kind of shutting down so early. Like, it's shutting down even earlier than I think, Mario Run, which Mario Run was the very first thing that they have. And they're shutting it down. I guess they must have noticed and looked at all the analytics that there's not a lot of money going up into the series. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, And I'm like, well, it kind of does sting. And it always kind of brings you back to reality of mobile games do not last forever. And when those servers go down, they go down. And any money that you invested up into the games is completely lost. It's a little bit different than like as if like if you pay money for DLC for like a console game or whatever though. Because as long as you had that digitally download it to your console and nothing bad happens to your console even when the server shut down, you still technically had your experience with it and still kind of exists on your console. Meanwhile, mobile game, they shut down the servers. There's just no way to actually access it. So I do kind of feel bad for all the people that did manage to drop down a ton of money up inside of this game though. But I don't think that many people were playing this game though. But it just kind of puts back everything back into perspective of mobile games just don't necessarily last forever. And I guess Nintendo saw it fit that this one wasn't doing that good, because we even see from Nintendo that they're kind of shifting away from the mobile scene. Because when was the last time that we had a brand new mobile game? I'm honestly trying to think back. We know Fire Emblem is hugely successful, as well as Dragalia Lost is pretty successful too. Pocket Camp, that's just rarely ever talked about now, especially now that Animal Crossing New Horizons is out. So I'm thinking, I was like, shoot, I can't even remember what's the last new. Oh no, it's Mario Kart Tour, which that one's still somewhat, because it's Mario Kart. I think it still does fairly well, so I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon though. But just all things to kind of consider though. But that's basically all I have to say on Dr. Mario World. But we might as well go ahead and shift over to the very next bit of news, because we have some interesting information for the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS. Yes, the Wii U, we know it's dead, but it might be even deader, if that makes any sense. Because apparently, starting at some point in the year of 2022, the eShop is going to remove your access to be able to pay for games with your credit cards on the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS, which is going to be a little bit annoying, and that's almost like a knock on death's door saying that, hey, you better get ready, because you know what, these consoles are about to die with their eShops. Because at first that almost kind of got me concerned about, what, hey, I might start, people might start to kind of panic a little bit and start trying to buy up and build up their kind of digital libraries and get some of those last games that they might have won on the Wii U or the 3DS and get them on their system before the servers can shut down now. But I realized that technically in Europe, I think it was always a thing where you could not pay with your credit card on the eShop. You had to basically either, yeah, I mean, shoot, I think, well, if you couldn't ever pay with it directly from your credit card, you were using your credit card to like go to Amazon or something, buy a $20, $30, whatever, $50, $60, or it wouldn't be dollars actually over there, it'd be euros or pounds or something like that, gift card, and then register that to your console and then have it to be able to download there. I guess that was technically always a thing over there in Europe, and now it's just about to be, worldwide, because this was reported to be happening in Japan, and if it's happening in Japan, it's probably going to follow suit everywhere else. So yeah, so that is something to kind of keep in mind though. But usually when you start to see stuff like this, hey, it might not be that far around the corner, especially for the Wii U, where they're going to start, pulling the plug on the eShop. And when that happens, man, I might have to get myself ready. I'm gonna have to probably buy a bigger mass storage for my Wii U, just to make sure I got all my because some of those games, I don't have all, registered or downloaded to my 32 gigabyte storage space. So I might have to buy some kind of mass expansion thing just to make sure I have all my games available on the Wii U before they shut that sucker down though. But yeah, y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below. What do you think about this little bit of interesting news? Do you think, you know what? Go ahead and throw this out there. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it out here in the internet world. I'm gonna say that the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS's eShops are gonna shut down. Oh, in late 2023. I'll say 2023 in the fall. That's when I'm thinking that they're gonna shut down their eShops entirely, and everybody's gonna panic, buy it up, and I just think that's the time. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Don't know if it's gonna be right or wrong, but I mean, might as well go ahead and throw a prediction out there. So I mean, if it does happen in fall of 2023, you heard it here first, y'all. You heard it here first. But anyway, y'all gotta let me know in the comment section down below what all you think about this. But that's basically all I have to say on that one topic, though. So let's go ahead and bounce over to the next one, because this one, oh shoot, this one is an interesting topic, not for the right reasons. Because apparently, over there at Activision, or Activision Blizzard, they got some more crazy crap going down, y'all. Because apparently there was a woman that's been sort of kind of been sexually abused over there while working underneath, this video game company. Because there was a lady that basically filed a lawsuit in California. And shoot, if it wasn't for the lawsuit, I don't think anybody would have heard or caught wind of this. But it's kind of thanks to the lawsuit that it's sort of kind of, rising up, and more gamers are sort of kind of getting in the know-how, like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on here at this company? Because apparently the document goes on explaining the tragic consequences of this alleged constant sexual harassment, with a female employee dying by suicide during a business trip with a male supervisor who had brought butt plugs and lubricant with him. And I'm like, what the actual freak? I'm like, this just disgusts me. I'm still not even quite over in terms of all of the misconduct and all that crazy crap that happened, even within the Smash community. Back during Evo, when all these people were coming out with their different kind of stories. Though I'm barely even over that, and the fact that a big old company such as Activision, or you know such as Blizzard, is over here basically saying, or having multiple different incidences with women basically being sexually abused, or all this crazy crap of misconduct. Like, what the heck is wrong with people nowadays? Like, I just don't get it. You just need to learn how to respect people for who they are and what they are. And what happened with the don't do on the others what you don't want done on yourself? Like, that's just absolute. Like, keep your hands to yourself, man. I mean, like if you want that kind of crap, I mean, do that mess with yourself at home. I don't care what you're gonna do though, but don't involve another person and start making them feel such a way where they're starting to feel uncomfortable. Because at the end of the day, a person is still a person, and I don't care what you're trying to do, or how it makes you feel happy. If it starts to negatively affect another person, that's just where you need to draw a line in the stand. And shoot, that's when people need to stand up. Now, I heard people online saying, you know what, I'm just not gonna buy the next Call of Duty, or what will be the next shoot, I can't even think of it off of the top of my head, but those big Blizzard games though, Overwatch, or I'm not gonna get the next Overwatch, or yada yada yada. Which, good for you, because I can't stand for crap companies that can't, kind of handle themselves or discipline the people. Because a few bad apples don't make the whole tree rotten. But it's whenever you got those high CEOs that are getting those 20,000, 30,000, not even 20, why did I even say 20,000? It's like millions in terms of their bonuses, and that they can't keep things under wrap and be able to, keep their ducks in a line for a company as big as theirs. Like, I just hardly have any sympathy for the people like that. I really don't. And it just frustrates me so much. So yeah, so I heard people that saying that they might possibly go through and boycott the games though. However, in order to get that grand major difference out there, it's not going to be just about the boycotting, because boycotting will only go so far. Some people are going to be out of the loop, not know about this, or some people honestly just won't care, sadly enough though. But the main difference and change is going to have to come from people internally within the company, and that's what we started to see. Because there was like one day where the hashtag was trending, Activision Blizzard walkout, and you basically had some companies right there in that photo, as I have it on the screen right now for y'all watching on YouTube, where people are outside the front of the company saying, hey, I ain't gonna work. Hey, we got to improve conditions within our workspace like this, because this simply is not going to fly. Shoot, there was even a one, there was some news that about 1,000 current slash former Activision Blizzard employees had signed an open letter calling for the company's response to the discrimination lawsuit, abhorrent and insulting. Like literally, you had people starting to sign up, starting to have people walk out, starting to have people protest in front of the thing. Like this is the kind of stuff we really need to see, because while we might boycott a game or whatever though, it's barely gonna take a drip out of the pool or whatever though. But it's whenever you start having the people within the company itself start doing things that directly affect Blizzard, because if your workers that are making your games are not in there working and making your games, that's when it's really going to start affecting you, and that's when it's really going to start hurting you. So yeah, so it's nice to see people actually standing up against this cause, and I'm just disgusted by all of this. Like this is absolutely ridiculous, and I just hate it when people devalue other people's opinions and their rights and stuff, and make people feel uncomfortable and stuff, and just abuse. Like just grow up and learn how to do better. Is it too hard to ask? Well, probably it is, because this is the world we're talking about, though. But honestly, it just disgusts me every single time, though. But that was my one little bit of negative news, but it's something that really needed to be brought up and needs to be have some awareness drawn to it, though. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say on that one topic, though. But let me know in the comment section down below how all of this make you feel, or shoot, are you actually one of those people that are gonna say, you know what, I'm kind of good on Activision and Blizzard games for now. You're not gonna pick up that next new the next new MOBA or whatever they make, or you're not going to pick up the next new Overwatch, or you're not going to pick up the next Call of Duty or anything else that they make because of these conditions. And even if a CEO comes out with a statement saying that, hey, we're doing X, Y, and Z to make better steps in order to help protect our workers and stuff, until we see solid concrete proof or actually word of mouth from the employees that are actually working on these companies, then you have to sort of kind of take that with a grain of salt whenever a big figure like that basically says something like that, though. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say on that, though. But let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, though. Now, next, we managed to get some brand new sales figures for the PS5 consoles themselves, as well as some of the games that have been selling out from it, though. So, in terms of the console itself, nearly about 10 million PS5s have been sold. So you would think, oh, okay, you know what, that's actually pretty good right there. They managed to crack 10 million like that. So you would think, all right, that's doing pretty good though. But then when you start looking into the game sales, you're like, how many people are buying PS5s and what are they actually doing with them? Because, like, for example, looking at some of the sales, Miles Morales is at 6.5 million sales, which is actually pretty good. But then you remember Miles Morales is a PS4 and a PS5 game. So how many of those sales are the actual PS5 version? Well, it's definitely going to be lower than 6.5. I imagine probably at least 50%, maybe a tad bit more are Miles Morales, but not all that 6.5 million. And then MLB The Show surpasses 2 million, and then Ratchet and Clank is over 1 million. And Ratchet and Clank is one of those few games that's only a PS5 exclusive. So I mean, Ratchet and Clank is about what, maybe almost like a 10% attach rate to the PS5. So honestly, that's pretty nice right there, though. So the series is doing pretty okay. I thought it would sell actually a bit more than that. Maybe it could have if they had more PS5s out there, though. But it also makes me think, how many of these PS5s are actually, scalp systems, or sitting in like a person's bedroom, house, or old warehouse somewhere or whatever, though. So it kind of makes you think about that as well, though. But honestly, just kind of looking at those sales, PS5 is doing okay. They ain't catching the world on fire or nothing like that, though. Well, it is in terms of people scalping and people losing their minds online, though. And if you're having to be listening to this show and thinking, hey, I still want a PS5, but I really want to get my hands on one. Little tip of advice from me to y'all is Target, I think, is one of the best ways to get it, because with Target, it's not going online where people can scalp it online easily. It literally goes up for whenever they sell those things, they literally only sell stock of what they have within their actual stores. So whenever I place my order through Target, it typically they like throwing their pre-orders up towards the very last week of the month, typically might be like a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursdays, and it's always been, I want to say, around 7, somewhere between 7, no, not 7:30, 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time. Somewhere between that window, I always notice on that last week of the month, either it's a random Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, that early in the morning Central Standard Time, that they managed to actually drop those PS5s out. So if you're in the search for looking for one, kind of keep that in mind. That's how I was able to nab mine. I had to kind of do some dirt digging history on it though, but I think that was the easiest way. Otherwise, you go to Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart is kind of up for grabs, or the PlayStation Direct. It's kind of up for grabs trying to get those. And it always seems like the physical one is easier to get than the digital one. I had not for the life of me seen that digital one really go back in stock though. That's just something to kind of keep up in mind though. But that's all I have to basically say on the sales of these units though. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all did you think about the sales figures for these right here? And you think the PS5 is doing pretty good, or you kind of questioning, what people are buying on the PS5? Because Ratchet and Clank is an exclusive PS5 game and it only sells 1 million compared to the 10 million that systems that have been selling out. Kind of questions, especially with all these other games. Like I think Horizon Forbidden West has managed to get delayed into 2022. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the other one. God of War has been managed to get pushed into 2022, and I want to say a couple other things right there. It makes you really kind of question what kind of games are people that have PS5 own. What are they actually going through and playing right now, though? But let me know in the comment section down below what all you think about that. Now, moving on, and honestly, actually, now that I'm looking at it, that's basically all the gaming news that I have to discuss with y'all today. Now we'll move on to my next segment, and that is what you've been playing. So for me, there's mainly 3 brand new games that have dropped within the past couple of weeks that I've been putting a decent amount of time towards. My very first one is none other than Pokemon Unite. Now with Pokemon Unite, you know what? At first, this was a game I honestly thought wasn't going to be any good, or slash, it was going to be one of those kind of games where I was like, I might play for a little bit and drop out. But actually, it's been a pretty fun experience for the most part though, because it's sort of kind of like your mobile games, like sort of kind of like your League of Legends or whatever you want to think with those typical mobile games. You're literally going from one side of the map to the other, and you have these little zones that you have to either protect or score in, depending on you playing offense or defense. And you literally run over there and drop your points up in there. You basically kill wild Pokemon along the way, and also you can kill your opponents though, and those net you points, and you have to drop the points and like score them, like in a basketball hoop sort of kind of thing, like you dunk it into those zones though. So I think for the most part, it's a pretty kind of cool, nifty little game though. It's all right when you play it single player, but when you start playing it with people that you actually know and you start forming those teams of 5, or sometimes even teams of 4 and 3, if you're doing like quick play matches or whatever, that's when things start getting really good and really competitive, because then you can start playing, start doing certain matchups whenever, like, you normally have like a team that runs across the top of the map, you have a team that runs across the bottom of the map. You usually kind of do those like in duo pairs, because you never want to get caught out going solo, and then you get like in a quick 1v2 scenario where the 2 people take you out because they just have numbers on you. So you have to kind of play that kind of game out, sort of kind of protect the lanes, protect your own goals, score into the other person's goal. There's a center area that's kind of like the jungle, is what people are referring to it as. So you basically kill the wild Pokemon, level up your Pokemon, evolve them, get stronger, get certain moves to replace them. And that's basically the whole gist of it. So really, it's just sort of kind of formulating strategies around the different Pokemon's abilities. Like, for example, Ninetales is a pretty cool Pokemon because it can basically freeze Pokemon and slow them down. You have stuff like that. Then you have like tanks like such as Crustle, basically form that like basically for like a dirt wall behind them where they can't run out behind them. You sort of kind of trap people like that. I will say this, Gengar is pretty messed up, like the way how he kind of warps in and out, and you can actually be invisible for a brief moment though. And then shoot, Cinderace though has like some very good extreme range on him, and also can hit pretty hard as well. So I mean, there's just a lot of different strategies when you start kind of digging up into it, where you can sort of kind of get these matchups though. And then you have leveling up items where, and they do sort of kind of have a battle pass with this, where you can kind of put money in there, get extra goodies in terms of appearances or extra items and stuff. And then you have like hold items that you can level up. Like there's a lot of decent depth up in this game, and we know over time they're gonna add more and more stuff, more and more content to the game as it progresses on. So honestly, it's a pretty cool, fun little game. It is free to play on the Switch, and I believe it will drop out on mobile within a couple of months from now as well. So, hey, it's free. You might as well go ahead and try it, especially if you got some people to play with online. Hey, this game, that's when things start getting fun, when you start coordinating with your team to try to secure a victory, though. So, yeah, that's basically all I have to say on Unite. Pretty good, fun little, solid little game, and I definitely put more hours into the game than what I actually thought I honestly would. But that's basically all I have to say on Pokemon Unite. Now, moving on, we did manage to get two other games that dropped recently this past Tuesday at the same time. One of them was none other than the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I got to be able to get that game. I managed to do a launch day live stream for that one game. I literally only made it up to the point where you're in the first trial, and normally that's like your kind of your introductory title right there. How, or introductory, like just sort of kind of learn the rules and figuring out, how to control the game and what basically how it works with showing evidence and presenting evidence, pressing the people to get more information out of them, all that stuff. Honestly, I did not expect for that first trial of the game to be that long, because literally I did a live stream on it, and that live stream was me playing for roughly about 2 hours, and I only got up to like the intermission where you take that 30-minute break. And I was like, gosh dang, I hadn't gotten any further than that because I have a ton of games I'm going through and playing through right now, though. Right now, though. So I'm like, okay. But anyway, though, so yeah, there's a lot of good stuff within this game, though. I really do like the presentation in terms of like the old time theme that you're sort of kind of getting from these characters, because I mean, you have a dude that's literally called Herlock Sholmes, man. Like, because they can't say Sherlock Holmes. I was like, man, it's just little things like that. And then I love how the fact that whenever you're looking at the characters, whenever they're talking, it still has the typical text that runs across the screen, but you also get the characters sort of kind of voicing, not voicing, but moving their mouths, like all the animations and stuff. This makes the game feel a little bit more alive than compared to like your original Ace Attorney trilogy with the first three games, because those are older games and whatnot, though. So yeah, so it's some enjoyable stuff up in there. Also, the cutscenes are nice as well. It just has a nice little extra added layer of depth. But I really do like the series so far, and I will continue to kind of give some updates here and there as I progress a little further along in the game, because I really do need to pick the game up again and kind of get a little further on into its story, though. But as of now, that's basically all I can say, though. But the little bit of time I did play up in it's been a pretty good treat. So don't sleep on this title, and it's interesting. I still find it interesting that the only way how you can get this game physical is if you buy the Nintendo Switch version. Like, there's no physical version for the PS4 or anything like that, like just the Switch. So I don't know, this might be one of the more valuable games, especially since this was only localized over there in the West originally, and now, I'm not West, the East, in Japan originally, and now they're bringing it west. So I mean, hey, if you're thinking about getting this game, you might want to invest in a physical copy. I'm just saying, because I don't know how much these games might be worth later on, but I think there's going to be some good value to a physical copy if you manage to pick up one of these, though. But that's basically all I have to say on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, next up, I have none other than Neo: The World Ends With You, the second game that managed to come out on that same Tuesday. And gosh, I just can't believe they managed to have two good games come out on the same day. It made it tough. I couldn't even manage to be able to showcase off both of these games within the same period of time on the same day, because I had to go to work stupidly early in the morning the next day. Like, literally, I had to be at work at like 6 in the morning, which caused me to have to actually go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, which I can't say when the last time I actually went to bed before midnight. I had to make a conscientious effort to actually get into bed and close my eyes and force myself to go to sleep. But those thoughts aside, though, this game, I put a little more time into this game than I have with the Great Ace Attorney series. And Oh shoot, I almost love every single aspect of it. I really love the way how they added voice acting up in the game. It really adds a nice little extra little flair though. All these new different characters and stuff, and the matter of fact, you get the dude from that always likes to say Zeta Slow and all of this stuff. Like, oh shoot, like, oh man, Neo is one of those good series where it's like, you know what, or The World Ends With You, should I say, is one of those good series where I'm like, you know what, this is comfort food. This is comfort food. This is really nice. And honestly, the way how the combat has changed, where you're just basically hitting buttons instead of doing the slashes and marks across the screen, whenever it was like a touchscreen kind of a game with the first original game. Oh my gosh, it's like leagues and leagues better. I mean, it might have been okay on the DS, but on the Switch, if you were playing it in dock mode, using the Joy Cons to kind of swipe and all that stuff, it was kind of a little bit off putting, to be honest, though. So yeah, that's basically the good stuff that I have to point out with the game in terms of its gameplay and everything kind of brings to the table though. But the music though, oh shoot, that's a whole nother story right there because that music is liquid fire, man. Like, oh shoot, like I just catch my head bobbing to some of the music. Like I might just stand still and just kind of take it all in. I gotta find some way to kind of get the soundtrack of the whole entire game because all the music tracks in this game bop so hard, just like how the original one did. And it's really nice, as a matter of fact, that it managed to get the same composer who made the music for the first game to come back and do the second game soundtrack. And I even heard that he also did the soundtrack for the anime, which I still have not watched yet because I was holding out that they might have been able to actually get a dub for it though. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not at this point though. So I might have to suck it up and actually watch the sub instead though. So yeah, so honestly, some really good stuff with Neil the World's Ends with You. I want to say I put close to, oh, if I include the demo time and the two times I streamed it plus a little off of there. I want to say I got close to anywhere between 4 or 5 hours. I think I'm on day 4, but put in roughly about 4 or 5 hours because I think this is about roughly a 50-hour game. So yeah, there's a lot to kind of look forward to within this game. So yeah, y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below what all do you think about this game, or if you were one of those people that actually managed to pick up the Greatest Attorney or Neo The World Ends With You on Unite as well though. So all of those are really fun, good little games though, and yeah, I recommend all of them. It's just I don't even know where the time goes for me to be able to actually attempt to be able to go through and play those games. Just saying. Just saying, man, I just hate it. Thankfully, I think there's a calming break between now and October before Metroid Dread drops out. So I'm going to try to get caught up on all these games. But that's basically all the games I've been currently working on at the moment that were brand spanking new. But I did manage to get a few more, or play a couple more other games in the meantime, though. And yes, I did manage to play a bit more Persona 5 Royal. I actually managed to beat Persona 5, at least the vanilla version of the game. I managed to go through it and beat all of that, which feels very nice. Now I'm to the royal content, the brand new stuff that got ended or that got added to the end of the regular base game. So basically that third semester. That's currently where I'm at right now. So I imagine probably by the time that I have my next ZardCast episode for episode 15, I might be done with Persona 5 Royal. And honestly, when I'm done with this game, I might have to do a sort of kind of I don't know exactly what to call it, whether it be like a review video or sort of kind of like a discussion video or kind of like a blend of the both. I just got to get my thoughts out on Persona 5 Royal because I honestly think it might be one of my favorite third party games I have ever played up until this point. I played some really good ones though, but this one strike a lot of chords for me in terms of its story, the gameplay, how fresh but yet sort of kind of traditional. It still kind of feels for the RPG elements when you're going up in there, and then just the nature of the games, the time management of you doing your certain tasks and stuff, and hanging out with certain characters and stuff. It's just a lot to take within that game itself. So I have quite a bit of stuff to say about it though, but you'll probably hear about it all within an official video some point in the near future though. So you can kind of look forward to that though. But that's basically all I have to say on the games I've been recently playing. I did play a little bit of Monster Hunter Stories 2 here and there though, but it's been kind of been put on the back burner at least for now. But hopefully once I get Persona 5 Royal done, it kind of opens up that path to kind of allow me to play Monster Hunter Stories 2 more, Neo, as well as the Great Ace Attorney, because I got quite a bit of stuff or quite a bit of hours ahead of me in terms of those games, though. But that's basically it in terms of all the what you've been playing for. So that's about it in terms of that. However, I do want to go ahead and add in a brand new segment to my podcast, and that is none other than community questions. Now, this is going to be a new segment where basically I'm going to send out a little post. I sent out sort of kind of last minute. It went out today where I threw it out on like my Twitter and my Facebook and whatnot though. So typically I think I'm gonna try to make a habit of throwing it out the Saturday before my Sunday or the Sunday that I air my podcast. So it happens every other week. So basically every other Saturday you'll see a post go out on my Twitter and my Facebook respectively saying, hey, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them here underneath those respective posts, and there might be a chance I might choose one of those questions to be able to answer within the podcast for tonight, though. So going ahead and looking at my list here, I think I managed to get one that I wanted to go ahead and talk about. I think it was from my good friend Steven, and he said, let me go ahead and pull it up here real quick. He said, "What is your current game of the year for 2021?" And that's a very interesting question right now because honestly, looking at some of the games I played so far, because that's the first thing I gotta do. I gotta figure out exactly what games I played so far. Like February, we had oh gosh, it feels like an eon ago. But we had Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. We had that game came out. We had also in that same month, we had ooh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Persona 5 Strikers. We had that game came out. March we had Monster Hunter Rise. April, not too much I think in terms of Switch stuff. May was both the Famicom Detective Club games. Also managed to get Metopia. I didn't play Metopia, but in terms of the detective games, I did manage to play one of those. June, then you have like what Mario Golf and all that stuff. Uh, Shoot, I even had like the Ninja Gaiden trilogy. That's one game that I bought along with Legend of Mana. It wasn't too much a game that I personally like. And in July with Skyward Sword HD, Neo the World Ends with You, um, the Great Ace Attorney, as well as Monster Hunter Stories 2. So I think those are, for the most part, all of those, with the exception of a couple that I mentioned, like Mario Golf, that I didn't actually pick up. I think were most of the games that came out in the year 2021 that I played. And I think out of all of those, I want to say that not Monster Hunter. I was about to say Monster Hunter Stories 2, but I think it actually goes to Persona 5 Strikers for me in terms of my current game of the year so far. And that's a big emphasis so far because honestly, the only thing that might be able to top that, well, I can't say too much about like Monster Hunter Stories 2, The Great Ace Attorney, and Neo the World Ends with You because I'm still early where I can't really give a definitive answer for those three games because Neo has a chance to possibly top Persona 5 Strikers, but as of now, it's still Strikers for the moment though. But Metroid Dread, that's the game coming out in October. And I feel like that might have a potential that kind of overshadow Persona 5 Strikers, at least for me though. But I guess that's my answer right now for y'all, Steven. But my current game of the year, if the year were to end right now, it'd probably be Persona 5 Strikers though. But I believe that's probably one of the only questions I have right now. I do apologize for throwing that little segment in there pretty late though. So I'll try to give y'all more of a heads up next time, so that way we can have more of an opportunity to get more questions up in there though. And I know lately, I think most of my friends have been kind of tied up with some stuff, so they have not been able to kind of join the podcast though. But I will probably add a little more extra commentary in terms of answering these questions, where y'all be able to hear a lot more opinions about some things. It doesn't have to necessarily be just about gaming related news or gaming topics in general, but it can be also on certain pop culture segments, especially Marvel. You ask me those Marvel questions, I'm ready to go at it though, because shoot, I've been in this Marvel gap for a decent bit, since the conclusion of Loki, and before we're trying to get to the What If series though. So I mean, hey, any kind of Marvel stuff, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go and talk about it though. But it could be anything like Marvel. It could be anything regular pop culture, gaming stuff, or it could just be some kind of random old question, or like what have I been eating, or what's my favorite food, or yada yada yada. I'll answer pretty much any of those. So yeah. So if you want to. Wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast, that you can leave a note in the comment section down below, unless I guess you're on one of the podcast servers being Google, Spotify, or Apple. Then just drop it somewhere on my Twitter. It could be on any of my posts, and I'll probably bookmark your tweet somewhere, um, or your message or your post, so that way I can be able to respond back to it though. So yeah, so that's basically it in terms of the community questions segment. But I do have one more bit of informational news in terms of my channel and what I'm going to do in the future before I go ahead and wrap up and close things out, because I do have my next game series to be able to talk about, because I just recently managed to finish my Metroid Zero Mission playthrough, which took about 4 different parts, and it was all, a pretty good, nice little grand old run right over there though. But now it's what's next in terms of my next playthrough series, and that is none other than Monster Hunter Rise. Yes, I'm finally going to take the time to go through and actually try to play this game, and try to at least get through, because I know Monster Hunter Rise, it's not one of them short kind of games where you can kind of get through it within a fairly quick amount of time though. But I know it's going to be something where you got to put like almost hours and hours upon. But in terms of me kind of bouncing around and playing different games for different game series, I'm mainly going to try to focus on the story. Now, rule of thumb, you don't really kind of want to focus on story if you're like a long-term fan, Monster Hunter fan, or if you're just like wanting to play these game series, because story just kind of gets you going. But it's mostly like that online multiplayer that most people start kind of putting most of their time up into though. But with me being super busy and stuff with the games I got to play and stuff, I only got a certain limited amount of time. So that's why I'm going to mainly focus on the story mode. I think from what I've been hearing from some of my friends and people that I heard from online, that it's roughly about 10 hours to sort of kind of finish the story. So I think 10 hours is what I typically like shooting for and playing for games in certain series though. So yes, that will be my next series to do, since I just finished up my Metroid Zero Mission series though. So you can look forward to that. And I normally like to go and live stream those playthroughs on Monday nights. Typically around 10 p.m. Central Standard Time is when I normally like to go live with those. So look forward to that though. So that's basically all I have to talk about within my ZardCast episode 14 though. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all do you think about all the different topics I talked about, or maybe there was something I didn't even manage to kind of get to within this podcast that you might have some honest thoughts about. So y'all just gotta let me know. Y'all just gotta let me know in the thoughts that you have down in the comment section down below, or share them on your respective social media accounts though. But that's basically going to do it in terms of this ZardCast episode 14 though. So if you really like this video, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related, pop culture, Marvel, and everything else I like to do on my channel. If you happen to be one of those few people that happen to be listening to my Google, Spotify, or Apple podcasts, make sure to go ahead and just share the video around. Just let people know that I'm doing this podcast series in more places than one, not just on YouTube. But I managed to get it out on those three because I worked pretty hard to get that podcast up on Apple, because I am not an Apple user at all. But I know some people out there and some of my friends are Apple users, so I can't be prejudiced against a certain brand like that. I just can't do it though. So yeah, so that's why that Apple one's out there though. But I do like the layouts for Google and Spotify a bit more so. But anyway, so that's basically gonna do it for this podcast though. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.